I'm still new to doing all of this myself, the streaming. So all right, so we're
It looks very complicated, but
I
it's cool.
know. So we are live. We are live once again.
Right.
It's Wednesday night, folks. Welcome to Make Weird Music. My name's Andre Chumley, and this is the. I'm still new to doing all of this myself, the streaming. So all right, there we go.
It
So
looks
right off the
very
bat,
complicated, but
I
it's
know.
cool.
I'm still new to doing all of this myself. We are live. We are live once again.
Right.
Right off the bat, we have Wednesday night, folks. Welcome to. We have that.
It's mystical.
We have that
Sounds
audio
like
thing that I do
it's
from
like
time to time.
sounds like is this the new track that you're working on or
Well,
like
exactly right. That's the good news about being part of Make Weird Music and avant-garde music world is that when something strange happens, then it's totally cool.
I mean always where that's what we do, right?
That's
We
what we
make
do.
strange things happen.
That's what we do. But yeah, folks, welcome to another episode of the Gear Spotlight, and where we explore various aspects of artists and their creativity, but we also focus in on how are they doing how are they doing these magical things, what are they using, and this modern world. Today we have someone who I'm so happy to have as a dear friend. I met this young man in his teens. We were on the same gig together, and we remain good friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Merlin Ettore. How are you, Merlin?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on this thing. This is
Absolutely.
very finally we're doing it after a few attempts, but yeah,
Absolutely.
good
No,
to be here. Good to be here. Yeah.
great to have you here. And Merlin is where's your secret location today? Well, I guess it's not secret. You're in Europe somewhere, right?
I'm actually currently in the south of Italy.
Beautiful.
We spontaneously decided to surprise my father. Was his 70th birthday yesterday,
Yeah.
and we're in this tiny beach town, and it was quite epic because it was a very last second, even like because we didn't know if we could fly, obviously, and then when we managed to do it, we just like we did it without saying anything. My mom knew, so we kind of like schemed it with her, and then we organized it that they took a walk on the beach, and then we just appeared out of nowhere from the beach towards my dad, and he was, "What are you doing?" It was like kind of a very nice moment. So anyway, so here we are. I'm here, and I'm supposed to be. I'm in Berlin, locked into my studio, but yeah, this here I am now.
Well, well, that's great. Well, let's people now know your name, and let's talk a little bit about what Merlin does. Merlin is, by immediate appearances, a drummer, but he's so much more than that. He's a composer. He's been doing soundtracks. He's been doing sound installations. He's been doing sessions on other people's records, on his own records. He's really kind of a Renaissance man, I think, because he's. What I love is he's just embraced this world of his generation and doing all this stuff, pulling it together. So at the middle of it all, he's a highly trained, highly skilled drummer, by my estimation, by many people's estimation, but also deeply into the world of synthesis and electronics, modular synths, analog synths, digital world, software, all of these things. So it's always tough to put a definition on someone like that, but musician, composer, sound designer. How else would you describe yourself, Merlin, if people were saying, "Hey, what do you do?"
Oh, I mean that you nailed it. I guess I like the Renaissance, man. No, I don't know. I mean, like I just do what I'm naturally drawn to, and I think I'm just these tools are just very exciting for me to just manifest what I have in my mind or in my heart, depending. And yeah, so and I just keep on getting excitement out of these new tools and discovering these new things, whether they're synths or drum machines or hardware or software, as an extension of my work as a drummer, but also just in general, I just like to make stuff with stuff, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of like cross platform, you know what I mean? I just
Right.
like, if there's something that I'm really interested in, I'm just gonna kind of, go towards that. But in the end, it's always towards kind of an artistic message,
That's it. That's a great,
Yeah.
you know, the artistic message. Yeah, exactly. Well, for people who have maybe not experienced Merlin's music, I wanted to. We're gonna watch just a couple clips of some videos. One of the very interesting things, Merlin, as you said, lives in Berlin, and we were going to do this from his studio. But one of the very interesting things of his studio, as we'll see in a minute, he has chosen in his creative space, his creative studio, to to be unlike almost every other corner of the planet now, and it's not connected to the internet, which I think is great because he's giving himself like a workspace. Tell us a little bit about that decision to kind of say,
I mean, it was a natural thing because I didn't have internet in my studio, and then I just never really got it. So that was kind of easy. But it was, in the end, it kind of became a thing because I didn't want to be distracted, or just even, I mean, sometimes actually internet can be very useful,
sure,
especially for when you're discovering new gear, like, instruction. So like with time, I learned that I needed to kind of, I still have a computer there, so I still need to, load up manuals or whatever, like stuff that I think I'll need. But essentially, yeah, I'll tell you even something more. I don't even have a phone there.
wow,
I and I do need to communicate, so I'm about to buy now, because I realize that just I tend to stay there for hours and I still need to phone. So I'm gonna buy this really old school Nokia, like
yeah,
really
like a flip
shitty.
phone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna have a, so I can still call if I need to, but no, like none of that there.
That's
Yeah,
hey,
but a lot of other connected, like a lot of other things, but not that.
no, I love it, man, because yeah, as a musician, I'm always like you do things. I leave the phone upstairs, or I kind of. But then, like you say, you were in this world, and then you miss some phone call. Oh man! So, but I think it's beautiful to set that up aside, and get into your space. So let's share. I'm going to share
Mm.
with people right now a little bit of some of your material, and let's listen to that. So I'll pause there. Wow, you know, I love how you've got it all set up too. Because if folks, if you follow Merlin's Instagram, there are performances, dozens of really beautiful clips, and it really lends itself to the Instagram thing because it's just a couple minutes and each one's different. Tell us a little bit what you have going on here. You have like, is that two modular systems or one split in two? What are we looking at?
So no, on the modular side, it's actually quite of a simple patch that I'm running. As you can see, there's not even that many cables going on. There's more complex patches that I'm doing on other setups that I have on the
Okay.
Instagram. But essentially, so on the left side, where you see time written there,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like where there's like a little submixer. So this is where I essentially run the parallel distortion of the drums. So you can hear that crunch,
Okay.
that, and I basically I duplicate the entire mix of the drums onto itself via like a headphone splitter. So I take the whole mix and then I duplicate it like 3 times, and then I layer that, and that basically creates kind of a feedback loop inside the mixer.
Okay.
So that's why you have this very sharp, yeah, distortion, saturated sound on the drums. But on top of that, I have another, actually two more distortions that I'm running in parallel with compressors. So two compressors, one compressor at the beginning of the chain, which is really I mean I'm just basically running everything to the max, so I'm compressing like hell at the beginning and then distorting all of that, feedbacking, layering, and then there's another compressor at the end of the chain to just kind of like limit everything with a side chain,
Right.
and then I can basically via auxiliaries I can sidechain that whole distorted signal, which is very dense, with anything, and most often the kick, or actually even sometimes I sidechain with the entire drum. So it really kind of glues the sound together. You know, the drums are really kind of like that. That's very kind of one of my mantras. You know, when I do this stuff is I always strive to have like a single sonic source. So I'm trying to find all these kind of ways to just glue the sound together. So anyway, so that's on that side, that's the saturation. And then you have this little thime box that I said, which is a very, very peculiar, special, and amazing sounding. You should definitely check it out, Andre, by the way. I don't know
Yeah.
if you heard about it from Basel Instrument.
I know
Mhm.
Bastel, but I love Bastel, but I don't know this box. Yeah, at the time. Yeah. Tell us what
Dude,
you do.
so it's kind of a digital, it's a digital tape delay, sort of.
Okay.
I mean, no, it is completely, but you basically every parameter can be automated.
Okay.
So with LFOs or even CV, but most of all, so there's an input, right? So you can, but you can express or automate the parameters with envelope followers.
Wow.
So I basically feed my entire kit in there, and then that basically just makes it, you know, do its thing. So the delay, and I often set the delay to very short, so it's more kind of like a very kind of sharp reverb, if that makes any
Yeah, like a
sense.
slapback. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you have a filter, and you also, and you can, and you have three different tape heads, so you can kind of, when you set them, it creates some really incredible so with the envelope followers you can basically kind of animate this thing. I don't know if I'm explaining it really. Even to be honest,
That's a great.
most of the time I don't even know what's going on. It just sounds really
That's half
amazing.
the
So
fun. That's half the fun.
yeah,
No, that's a great
yeah,
explanation.
exactly.
That's quite clear. And to me, it brings, I think, one of the main points that I'm really fascinated that you do. You're making sure that the performance goes in the machine. Your little nuances,
Yeah.
little, I really that's what I want to hear about. So when you say this envelope followers, is this one of those things where you are triggering some stuff from your snare or your hi hat or different things? Is that
Actually, no. I mean, like, oh well, there are two triggers on my bass drum, as you can see.
okay?
I don't know if we're seeing the same image that I'm seeing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. I see some stuff on the kick drum. Yeah, clipped on the top.
So you have like this,
Yeah,
exactly. You have the silver
yeah.
one. This, so this black. So let's start with the black one. The black one is actually a mic and a trigger,
Right,
and this thing is hooked up to this new unit from Yamaha called the EAD, electroacoustic drum, which is
right.
really a game changer. Was a game changer for me. So it's a, excuse me, it's a stereo mic that you have at the center of the kit. So you have a very kind of stereo captation capture of the sound. And then this I essentially use to feed to my envelope followers or to the saturation chain cup layering of the double. And then the other trigger, this is actually used to trigger a sample, but not necessarily audible. It's more to excite effects to reach this kind of broader spectrum, because my kick, my drums actually are tuned quite tight, and especially my kick drum, it's not very, and so it doesn't hit under a certain, so like electronic kick sound sample.
Hello, hello.
Kick.
Oh,
So with that information, I then can send it either through the modular or through the thime, for example, and that's going to affect.
we're having a little some intermittent internet here, folks. Sorry about that. Um, it's with the internet, kind of it's amazing it ever works, right? We are we're always lucky that anything works. So let's see what happens here. Um, Let me make sure we're live on YouTube. Um, and sorry, folks, for those of you watching on live. It's his
Oh,
connection.
I'm
Oh,
back.
there you
Sorry.
go, man. So okay, yeah, it's all right.
Sorry, I don't know. Connection is a bit dodgy. I don't know what you caught or what you
Uh,
lost.
well, you were just expounding about the kick drum and that it triggers
Right.
a few different layers of stuff and how you have the
Exactly.
kit tuned very tight and yeah.
So basically, I use the sample to excite the effects that I process the drums through,
Yeah.
rather than using the sound. And I mean, like sometimes it's more apparent in other patches, but yeah. So that's on that side, and then on the other side, the modular side, I'm essentially running few voices that are controlled or that are like ran through my sequencer. Very often, the steps are triggered via envelope followers by the kick drum or the snare drum. So basically, every time there's an input, I kick my kick, goes to the next step, goes to the next step. So that's why it's so tight on that section that we were listening to earlier. You hear the kick drum is really on the that like kind of physical modeling.
Right.
It was really on the kick, so that was triggering the steps of the sequencer that
The kick,
were
your
sequenced.
actual
Yeah,
kick is okay.
yeah.
So in that sense, your right foot is the clock, right? You are clocking.
I am the clock.
You are the clock. Maybe
I mean,
yeah,
I do play along to a click sometimes,
yeah,
just for myself, especially if I play like something that really needs to be very straight. I have a click going, but nobody here. I mean, it's just for me.
yeah,
So
yeah. No,
yeah.
that's great. And again, I love the human machine line that you blur is really cool, and I hope people can realize that. So okay, so yeah, it's just very interactive, and I love how you have it just set up so that you can get around very easily.
Mm.
Tell us, well, now I've seen you play all kinds of music, rock music, funk, jazzy stuff, world music through the years. When did you get into electronics and say, you know what, I'm making a hybrid hit? Was this?
Dude, it's been a while, man. It's been a
Yeah,
while. I actually Pat Mastelotto
right.
is the one that really kind of opened my eye. I mean, I was already playing around with computers since a very young age, just because they were around, and drums and stuff like that. But like, it was really by seeing him and his work that kind of, I had like a very clear example of what it could be, you know. So no, it's been years that
Yeah,
I've been combining these like electronic and acoustic percussion instruments, or and I've always been very interested in music composition,
sure.
just kind of writing stuff, and so it was kind of a natural evolution for me to just combine these two things in this way. So I don't know, I mean, like, computers, yeah, like I said, like, since Rebirth, I don't know if that rings a bell.
Sure, sure. That's old school, but yeah,
I
new.
mean, that was that was my video game, that
Right?
was my video game for me,
Yeah.
really. Rebirth.
That's great. Um,
So I don't know, I mean, then that's a while back. I mean, I would say, yeah, I don't know, years
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Since your youth, at least, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, tell us a little bit too on your musical background, and of course, folks, Merlin Ettore, we're here with him, and hybrid drummer is one of the names that he uses, hybrid drum, because he's hybridizing all these worlds, and he performs under his own name. You can look up just his name, Merlin Ettore, on Instagram and things like that. But also as sorcery, which we're going to look at in a minute, which is a completely different project that he has under this umbrella. But take us back a little bit, because I know you're just there, as you say, a great surprise birthday for your dad, and which is wonderful. Please say hi, wonderful, wonderful
I
parents
will. I will.
that I met. But your parents also, and your whole life growing up is music. Your parents had this incredible I don't even know what to call it, an arts a cornucopia of arts called the Music Arsenal. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the Music Arsenal. And
Well, I mean, my parents, they founded kind of a contemporary art empire. They basically, well, they still do, actually, to a certain extent. At least the company is still alive, but the mission of the company is to provide cutting edge contemporary artistic performing arts music content to a young audience. and
great.
and nobody does that, nobody really, like, usually for kids, it's either Hollywood, right? You have like these massive productions like cinema, or it's just kind of a virtual nanny. Nobody's really taking the kids seriously, and my parents do, with art. So
Yeah,
they basically push this very, and like, they go crazy, and the
yeah,
kids love it. so so that's essentially what my parents have done, and that's what they built, and that's what yeah, and that's what I grew up in,
grew up in that
basically.
scene. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and my dad is a drummer, and my grandfather also was a drummer. So the drums, like, I'm a third generation, so
Yeah,
it's always been that kind of percussive
sure.
upbringing.
That's great. No, that's a great
Yeah.
line, and again, I love that the the studying of percussion and drums is at the heart of all this, and then you went and studied all this
Mm.
electronics. You're also a Yamaha endorsee, which is fantastic. So
Hmm.
Yamaha Drums has recognized that. Wow, this is
And Paiste.
and Paiste cymbals. Yeah. Um, uh, Tell us a bit about that. You've been doing some clinics for them. You do some videos and things, right?
I did. I mean, I've been since 2007, basically, with Yamaha and Paiste.
Yeah.
I also endorse Vader drumsticks
Right. Okay.
and Ableton Live. But that's not necessarily in the drum, but still. But anyway, so Yamaha And Paiste, that came in 2007 when I was invited to perform together with Joanie that you met
Right.
uh,
Yes. Yeah.
at the Montreal Drum Fest, which was, I mean, it's not doesn't exist anymore, but which was one of the reference drum festivals worldwide. I mean, I'm assuming you know the Montreal. You've heard of the Montreal
Yeah.
Drum Fest.
Heard of it. Yeah. And also
So
for people who don't know, that's where Merlin grew up in Montreal and in
yeah,
Canada.
exactly. So basically, the big boss of the Montreal Drum Fest, Ralph Angelillo, saw Joanie and I play at a club. We had a drum and percussion duo at the time, and he invited us to play at the drum festival. And it was like a full on, you know, we were an act, and that was basically what opened the door to this to these major drum companies, you know, because they saw me there and I got to meet them, and the show went really well. And that was kind of the beginning of that collaboration with Yamaha and Paiste,
Yeah.
and which I've been with them ever since 2007, and it's been great. And they've been so supportive, and I love to support. I love to play their instruments, obviously, and yeah, I mean, for me, they're just really great instruments. And so yeah, I waved. I mean, I constantly wave their flag as soon as I'm at the kit. But I did also some more drum festivals for them, and some clinics and master classes and things like that here and there,
Yeah.
which I still do occasionally in
Sure.
Berlin. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
No, well, it's great, and these modern relationships with companies and artists now that can be global and can be so
For sure.
fast with the technology we have. Let's look a quick second at some of the smoke and mirrors. This is really cool. Yamaha piece that Yamaha put together with Merlin.
Fucking with you. He doesn't stop fucking with you. Fucking with you.
Wow, so good. You know what I love about it too is all your influences come out. There's prog rock, there's metal, there's experimental, there's moments of, the stuff you and I have talked about, people like Stockhausen and, you know,
Yeah.
Stravinsky. I mean, all those 20th century people. That's what's so cool is when I meet people your age that have studied these things, from the past centuries, and then bring it right to today with the electronics. So again, we got a glimpse of some of your gear there. Now you were telling me you use you like the sequencer called the Eloquencer. Is that the one?
Yes, I love this. I love this thing. It's amazing. Have you tried it?
Tell us why. No, I've seen some videos, but why
I
would
mean, I think,
Eloquencer?
well, the first thing that I love about that thing is that it's extremely straightforward and very intuitive. Everything is there, and you have all what you would expect from a sequencer, at least what I would expect from it. I mean, it really, like, the interface really speaks to me. So you have this you can just easily, quickly go to where you would want to go, and more. And I mean, one thing that I really, really appreciate is the fact that there's this controlled random, so you can randomize certain parameters like velocity, for example, or even notes, and then you can set the percentage of random that you're actually. So it doesn't randomize fully. So the level of expression, and this is like, you can get that very, very quick. So you can quickly get a very interesting voice going, and then you have I don't know, I think it's 8 voices. Well,
Okay.
I don't remember, but I guess so. But so it's I mean, you have a lot of potential. And also you can convert some of the sequence lines into LFOs, so it's kind of another. So you can use that to, so so essentially those are the things that I use it for. The ratcheting is also really cool. You can get this. I love to stuff. I love to ratchet things. Yeah. So yeah, the Eloquencer, I mean, it's amazing for drums or for melodies or any type of pattern or any type of it's very expressive and very I think the name actually really fits it well. You can articulate quite easily and quite complex, and still have a sense of it, especially with this controlled random, which is very nice. Yeah.
So it's eloquent. Yeah, it's a great name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I was speaking with my dear friend Adam Holtzman, who's been on this show, synthesist, keyboard player. We were talking about sequencers earlier today, and there's so many sequencers. There's so many.
Yeah.
But I remember you saying, yeah, Eloquencer. Now, what's cool is as you watch your videos, you're always it looks so effortless, even though I know it's not. But you can easily be playing with one hand, and I see you reach over, you do a few things. So that's you are changing this process as it goes, right? You're picking different setups and stuff along the way. Is that?
Yeah. It's everything is quite spontaneously maneuvered, if I could say. It's very and also the patches. I just I kind of patch a day keeps the doctors away.
That's
so
it.
Always trying to get something new, and there's this dialogue essentially that's happening where, because everything is really reactive to what
Right.
I play. So on one side, my playing influences the sounds, but also I play to what I'm used to playing with other musicians.
Right.
I mean, I still do, and I've played. So I listen to what's going on. So
Yeah.
that also affects what I'm playing. So there's a dialogue happening, really, and then I just organize my setups in that kind of spirit where we feed each other. So I feed it and it feeds me, and then we have this, and that's where the work is really at with the hybrid thing.
That's great, man. What a great attitude, and I love how you're approaching it. It's work. You are continually, and again, yeah, again, what I've always loved since the first time we worked together is is you have that it's a good way, in a good way. You have that old spirit. You have that old school artist attitude of like, I got to get into the rehearsal room. I got to get into the woodshed. This is work,
Absolutely.
and it's funny because I work with a fair amount of younger musicians, and some of them miss that boat. They're just looking for which program's going to inspire you next.
Yeah.
It's work. It's a conversation, as you said. So that's a beautiful thing. There's let's talk about some of the other music you've done too. This is a beautiful one that I'm going to play, which is completely different type of music, and it's I always say his name wrong, but it's a piece by Arvo Pärt. Is that how you say it?
Arvo Pacht, I
Yeah,
guess, yeah.
yeah. So let's look at that because you also do a fair amount of orchestral collaboration.
Oh no, actually, this is a piece I composed.
Oh, sorry, this one was yours. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Piece by Merlin Ettore here, folks, and the violin player's name again?
Juan Miguel Hernandez.
Juan Miguel Hernandez. Let's check it out. Wow, beautiful. And I'll put the link there for folks. That is it's in Merlin's Facebook. Wow. So tell us a little bit about that. Is that in your studio? Where was that?
That's in my studio in Berlin. Yeah, in my home studio. My
Right.
second. So I have two. I have the drum, and then a more production oriented, more mixing, late stage production.
Sure.
So, anyways, yeah. So that was the studio at home, and so it's a piece that I had that I composed, and it's basically based on the harmonic structure, and the chord progression is taken from these old Gregorian chants and this medieval, religious, so I isolated a few chord progressions that I liked, and then I just made them together. That's why it's so, and I organize it in a way that it's just a always evolving kind of pattern. And then over this, Miguel just improvised straight up, and I mean, he's a world class. I mean, this guy, he's an amazing viola. He was the head of the viola department of the Royal Academy in London for a few years.
Okay.
And he played. I mean, he's amazing. So it was a real treat to have him. I mean, and he's also a very good friend of mine. We were hanging out, so I
Right.
just took him there. And then we did the Arvo Part piece, which was the evening before. So it was like we did this little session, and then we set up these two pieces. And then the Arvo Part was his,
Okay.
You know, his
That's,
idea, you know.
mhm.
So, and then I made an arrangement for the modular for it, and then so I played on his piece, and then he did one of mine, basically. Yeah.
Okay. That's thanks for clarifying that. I put the link there for people. You know what's cool about that sound too is it lends itself well. Now that little slice that we gave, um, we heard some rocking stuff, we heard some electronic stuff. Beautiful. That's very hypnotic, a beautiful piece,
Mm.
and I love that it's yours because I saw it the video and I didn't realize. It's twice as impressive now because I'm like, wow. No, because
Cool.
that's the real deal, man, and that you're reaching back to stuff that I remember studying in college, Gregorian
Mm.
chants and Hildegard von Bingen, that whole era of
Yeah, and yeah,
plain
also
chant.
yeah,
Uh,
and this like I really like Rolando de Lasus. Do you know this guy?
Yes, I remember that name, but couldn't say.
Yeah, so like yeah, it's like these
Yeah,
angelic voices, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
over the top, like wow, yeah.
It's so great, and I hope other people are inspired by this because there we have a line from, you know, centuries ago to electronics that's being built today, like Bastille in Czech Republic, or
Yeah.
and then we have percussion and Afro-Cuban influence, all kinds of things that you've done. That one reminds me again of kind of a soundtrack sort of thing and sound installation.
Totally.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that because on your you just recently did a thing with which I was delighted to see that we have another friend in common, Deja T, who did.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this incredible art opening you were just part of, and it was. Tell us where it was, what city, and a little bit
So
about.
which what we did a few projects. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about this massive strobe light structure?
Yeah. What did she do with the Enter Figura? Is that also
No, no, no. Enter Figura is something else.
okay?
Enter Figura is another thing that I scored. Yeah.
Let's start with Enter Figura because I have that
So
right here.
Okay. So Enter Figura, this is a friend of mine. Actually, both of them. The guy who directed it, and they're a couple basically.
Hmm.
And the actress that's in there, Marie.
Hmm.
They basically did this project together, and then they asked me to score it. And it's about gender and the meaning of gender. So it's the narrative is that you have this kind of saturation of gender stereotypes, you know. So you have the sexy girl, and then she kind of transforms into this guy, and then you
Yeah,
know, so it's like that's the topic. And I made the music essentially,
that's great.
which was really fun. Yeah.
It,
And I worked a
let's
lot with vocal samples. I asked her to record her voice, and then I used that. And then I have this morphing plugin which I love
perfect.
from Melda Productions. Have you ever heard of them?
No,
Melda Productions.
I'll
Oh,
make
dude,
notes. Yeah.
Morph,
Okay.
Morph from Melda Productions.
Okay.
You can take two different sources in real time, and then you it's via FFT and you know, spectral analysis, and then you
Sure.
can morph two different signals. So I'm morphing the drums with the voices, and so that's why you have like this kind of, it's like a drum that's singing, or
Sure.
a voice, you know, and then you have this really strange artifacts that are
All
coming
right.
out of this morphing process. So that was kind of the whole concept of that track, of that piece. Yeah.
So it's software. This one.
Software.
It is software. Okay. Great. Right. That's
Mm.
Okay. I just pulled it up. Wow. Thank you, man. And I love that idea because I love modeling and I love
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
and no pun intended. We have some models in this piece. But no, and those are great models too. But I love the idea of modeling, physical modeling
Mm,
of
me too.
sound and audio. Let's take a quick look at that one. Really beautiful work here. Here we go, folks. That's great, man. I love it.
So that's the trailer that they
Uh-huh.
use. So,
Sure.
but if you in the whole piece, you really you hear that those voices, how they're like, like, and
Yeah.
the morphing really when it comes in, it's really impressive. Actually, that plugin is amazing. Yeah, it's
That's
really
great.
really very efficient. Yeah,
No, and again, I love that you're reaching into these different worlds and art exhibits and again
totally.
for commercials and stuff. Do you have time these days to listen to much music? What do you, if so, what are you listening to? Is there anything
I do. I mean, it's part of the work.
good?
you know to
Did that?
be to so I filter a lot, obviously, and I very often I'm confronted with music thanks to my peers, to my colleagues or collaborators, so I get to discover music through them. I mean, I don't have that much time to go digging.
Yeah.
I do also because I did do a bit of DJing here and there, so that forced me to dig, but that was dig in a very specific way, dance floor or club oriented. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, I did discover some things recently that were really great. Noticeably, Lorne. I mean, I kind of rediscovered him. He's been around for a while. Lorn, Lorne.
I think I
Uh,
heard that name, but didn't know the music. Okay.
he's you should check him out. He's really cool. Just recently, I discovered this guy, two UK artists that are really, I mean, I'm really into Igloo Ghost and Sega Bodega. It's this
Wow.
UK
Okay.
singer. That's. I mean, it's more in the electronic. I'm really into this at the moment. But I mean, obviously, I mean, in the last years, a few years, like Alessandro Cortini was
Oh,
one of the highlights. Obviously, I mean, I saw him live. That was something else.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, that's.
Yeah,
I'm making notes. Igloo Ghost, and what was the second one?
Sega Bodega.
Sega Bodega. Okay, that's great. No, I'm always trying to find something new every. Okay, there we go. Sega Bodega. I love it, and I check it all out. Have you heard this group, Igor? Igorrr?
Sure, I played with him.
Did you? Oh man,
Yeah,
because
I
that.
supported him. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great because that's so much your vibe. Like in
yeah.
some ways, not completely, but this just the ancient modern part of it. I mean,
Totally,
where
totally.
they
Yeah, he's a funny dude. Yeah, it's a French guy. Yeah,
any
yeah,
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 right.
yeah.
And Merlin speaks how many languages? Four languages you speak? How many? Three?
Three and a half.
So English, French, German, Italian.
Italian, Italian. My German is
That's the half.
half. Yeah,
Well, he lives in Berlin, and what a great and smart move as an artist. Merlin, as you were saying, you decided a few years ago. Well, Berlin, might be a place. And has that been a great decision? I mean, for
well, listen, it's been, I haven't looked back since. I mean, it was kind of, I'm going to go there, check it out, and then I'm still there after 13 years. So,
I
I mean,
love it.
the point is that I mean, other than being a great city, but for me, it's strategically very well placed. I mean, I'm pretty central for Europe. It's still everything is very reachable, because I mainly operate. My playground is Europe and worldwide, So I rarely play in Berlin. Actually, I
Right.
have the Berlin date, but I don't, So there, it's more just to hang out and to be with my studio with my friends, and it's a vibrant city, as you know. You've been there,
Love it.
so no, I mean, Berlin is cool. Berlin is
Yeah.
cool, very
One
cool. Yeah.
one of the and of course one of the electronic capitals. So yeah.
Well, yeah.
But so we've hit a couple parts of the music, folks. And another one I wanted to touch base was the DJ world. And so let's talk a little bit about sorcery. Let me give you,
Yes.
as I've been doing, folks, I give you a little sample of Merlin as a DJ. hypnotic. So usually this is in a room full of people, of course. I love it. Now, usually that's a room full of people sweating and dancing and kind of. But tell us about this. This is not too long ago, obviously during lockdown. Is this a stream kind of a thing that you're?
So this thing, yeah, this is kind of the like a new Berlin channel that really picked up. I think also thanks to the. I mean, they're a great channel. They're great, sweet, awesome people. They do their thing really well. But I mean, due to the lockdown, everybody was in front of the computer, so that really
Sure.
picked up. So yeah, I mean, I did that one. I don't even remember. I played there a few times, but that was one of actually that was at the beginning of the pandemic. That
Right.
one. It was
Okay.
so strange because it was a pandemic, and then I got this gig, and I was like, "What?
Right. Oh
The
my
world is burning, and I need to go do this thing now." And then it was one at a time. Like we had the whole. They were like spraying with disinfecting, like everything. Like it was just me and the technician. But like everybody, like there were like a lot of people watching, so that was it was a very strange one, but it was cool. So, but sorcery has been going on for already a few years. I'm about to release the second EP,
Okay.
which is going to be announced in the next week or so.
Okay.
And I played a few parties. I mean, it's still a young project. It's about like 2 years,
Okay.
but I managed to do like some good. I headlined like a warehouse party in the Ukraine, where that was proper techno. What you were saying, the full of crowd, you were missing the warehouse part. It needs to
Right.
be a warehouse, a
Right.
sweaty warehouse.
With that the cops don't know and everything's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the one. And you have people just going crazy, like typing on their phone, like "this is insane," because you can't hear anything, like telling me stuff. So yeah, that was fun. I also played in LA together with the Richard Devine.
Oh, great. Yes. Love
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah,
that's
and
great.
also with
So you did
other
a duo
techno.
with him or
No,
sorry,
no, 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 no.
on the
We're just on
same
the same bill.
package,
On the
same
same
package.
bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, Richard Devine.
Yeah, he's awesome. He
Yeah.
did he did like acid set. Oh my god,
Yeah.
incredible. And together with other great acts. I don't know if you're familiar with Drum Cell or Belief Defect.
No, but
These are like, it's more like on the techno side. So
okay, I love it. I love it.
yeah, and I played in Berlin also, a few decent club gigs, and I had like a bunch of gigs coming up that all got canceled due to the pandemic with
Sure,
sorcery. But
sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna come. It's gonna
Yeah.
come.
No, I love it because that's a whole other slice of electronic music, and
Yeah,
people my generation, that's not often their style, but that's where the big week-long festivals of kind of music like that. And what I love is again, you're putting it into a morphing electronic kind of.
yeah. I'm like the adventurous.
You're
I'm
right,
not so straight.
right.
I'm like the
It's
I'm
all over
like
the place.
getting freaky on the dance floor.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
as a fan growing up with electronic music, since I was a kid, when it blew up the second time or whatever we want to count,
Mm,
with the '90s, with kind of Aphex Twin, Square Pusher,
mm.
Chemical Brothers. You were a kid, but I'm sure that stuff, right? As a
Definitely.
young kid, that
Absolutely.
was yeah. And you and I
Absolutely.
met through we did a gig together with Don Preston,
Yes.
ties together the whole electronics. Let's talk a little bit about some of your other collaboration. Now you're friends with Pat Mastelotto, and I want to invite Pat. I want both of you guys. We should do one of these shows. We've talked about it,
Totally. That'd be amazing.
but
Yeah.
Pat Mastelotto is a big fan of yours, which is just so cool.
I'm
Yeah,
a big fan of his.
yeah. Who wouldn't be? But Pat's love for new music and new technology, and it's so inspiring.
Absolutely.
And, and so the two of you, tell us a little bit. Also, you've done some work with two of my dear friends, Marcus Reuter and Tim
Yeah.
Mott. two great musicians from.
I I just know Tim.
Oh, you
I never really worked with
didn't
him.
work with.
No. I
Sorry.
just just with Marcus. But
Tell us
I
about
did
that.
go. Oh, I mean, it's always been these crazy events that I did with Marcus. I don't know. We just managed to every time. It's just been some I don't know, stadium in Russia, or I don't know, something like that. So we did this. I got referred by Pat
Okay.
to Marcus to be a part of this East meets West, world music. You can look it up. Stepscape.
Okay.
Stepscape was the name of the project, and it was this like super group. Um, uh, I don't know what you have up there. What's coming up in your
Yeah.
search bar?
There's Stepscape. Um. I,
Yeah, like live in Russia or
okay. Yeah.
Perm. Is there Perm?
Have some albums, but Perm. Okay. Where
Live
we
in Perm.
where there was the cannibal. There was a guy. Remember they caught a cannibal there.
Really? Oh my God, that's so
Right
freaky. I
after
believe it. That place is dodgy, man.
Pyramid is crazy. It's not coming up, but that's okay. Stepscape, right? No.
Yeah, Stepscape. Yeah, with two Steppe.
Oh, that's
Step like step.
yeah, like the
Double
Russian.
P. Yeah, exactly. Like the Russian steps.
And then SCAPE.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not seeing it, but that's okay. No, we'll find it, and
So
people can.
anyway, so it's a kind of like a world music supergroup with
Yeah.
Mongolian and throat singers and all of these traditional instruments. Yeah, yeah. I really wish I thought we knew about it. I wish I could. Can I send you a link?
Yeah, yeah. Please send something, and we'll. But of course, folks on this channel are we have a lot of fans of the great Marcus Reuter, very creative musician, and he plays the what would it be called? The touch guitar, right? Because it's no longer it's not the other thing.
Yeah, he's great.
This is different, but
So there and so here where should I paste
send
the
it in
link?
the text or yeah or
Chat?
text or the chat is fine. Yeah. Um,
Text? Okay, here.
yeah, that's fine, and I'll find it. So
Yeah.
okay, so with Marcus, you've
Yeah,
done
so with Marcus, yeah. And yeah, so I mean, and it's been going on for, I mean, it went on for a few years actually. We did a few gigs, massive gigs. You can, if you want, we can watch like the intro. It's very impressive.
yeah. This looks beautiful, and Diaghilev Festival. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, it's a beautiful festival.
this is beautiful
Yeah.
stuff. And again, that speaks to how impossible it is to really tell people what you do, which I love, bro. I mean, it's we can't possibly.
For better or for worse.
Remember, here we go. Wow. That
Yeah. So
so it's looking like it's wow. Gonna have to watch this whole movie. But this look so it's looking like it's people from many cultures. Right? It's a mix of
exactly. It's this like East meets West super group of these amazing folk players. Really, one more great than the other. And Marcus and I were basically doing the west part. So
okay.
I was arranging all the electronic percussions, and yeah,
Wow.
Marcus was doing all the music arrangements, and yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
That is fantastic. When I can just look at the date, but that was it was a couple of years ago. When was that? What's the
Yeah,
date?
that was
2014, huh? 2014.
2014, but we played afterwards again, and we went to Kazakhstan, and we did like a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that is incredible, man. No, the breadth of styles. I love it, and it's effective. You've played now in North America, South America, Europe. You've played in Asia. Have you played in Singapore? Right? You had a project in Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore. I played in Australia. I think Africa is pretty much the only place. And
That's
I was scheduled to go there, but it I even got the vaccinated to do the thing. I was like ready to go, and then the project fell through.
okay. It wasn't
But
the
I would
pandemic.
love to
It
go
was some other.
to.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. It was like no. I mean, like, because I had to get like a shot to go. I mean, this was like already like a few years back, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
basically, Africa is the only place that I haven't still had the pleasure to discover or to share some music with the people there. Yeah.
Wow, that is great, man.
Mm.
Yeah, and then maybe we can find you a gig on Antarctica. Then you can get
Yeah,
all the
sure, I'll do
continent, you know.
it.
No, I love it, man. And so we only got a couple minutes. Let's wrap up. But I wanted to say, I think you told us what's coming up next. You have a sorcery EP coming out.
Yeah.
And what else is happening? Are you doing any uh, video production
I'm
film work? What's
yeah,
happening?
I'm doing a few visual things. I'm doing a music video for a techno producer, also a friend of mine, Kang Ding Ray, that is gonna come out soon. I'm also about to release a new Merlin. I'm talking about myself in the third person, but like a new like a performance video that's gonna like a 30-minute hybrid drum with visuals, full on video performance live thing that's gonna come out in May.
Okay.
With the music is gonna be available for on Bandcamp.
Okay.
And I'm also, what else am I doing right now? I'm just doing my thing, just continuing to studio shenanigans,
I love
usual
it. I love
studio
it.
shenanigans. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's inspiring to me, my friend, and I hope to many people watching. You know,
that's cool.
here's one more I wanted to look at because it's so different. Again, this is the one you did. We spoke about last week. With it's called. Excuse the pronunciation. Is it Aether? Aether with Lena Kilchik.
Yeah, with Lena, the great
Yeah,
Lena Kilchitskaya. Yes,
incredible. So
she is.
set that up, and we'll give people a little taste of that as we wrap up. That was about six
So
years ago. Yeah.
basically, this was a part of. I performed a lot in the circus. I worked a lot with the circus, and this was a part of a circus project that I was making the whole music. And this is a number that was specially made in collaboration with Lena,
Okay.
this incredible dancer. And
Yeah.
so yeah, this is the duet that we had. So the duet was her dancing and me music
Okay.
and drums. Yeah.
Here we go, folks. We're gonna
And that was in Prague. That was in Prague, live
in
in
Prague,
Prague. Yeah.
Czech Republic, home of Bastille, right? Our friends.
Yeah.
the
Yes,
Bastel modular people who are
the
so incredible.
Bastel dudes.
Yeah, they're incredible.
What a dancer.
Amazing. Yeah, really.
Oh, she's awesome.
Another one to bookmark, folks, and I'll put the link. Um,
And actually, she's also performing in that sorcery music video
that's
we were
that's
talking about
right.
earlier.
Yeah,
That's
I
her.
noticed that,
Yeah.
and she has her thing is with the socks to kind of. I,
Yeah.
I said, "Wow, that's a great, that's a great different way of doing it." Um, Folks, thank you so much for being part of this. And one more thing, I want to make sure that people know, because a lot of artists today, young, not so young, old, very old, it doesn't matter. I see it's random. You got to have a good website, folks. You got to have a good website. I mean, it's the time is, and so I want to commend Merlin on so many things, but the website is fantastic. You go right away, the music hits you. He's got his bio. You get to the point within seconds. Email list, a host of videos. You can learn so much very quickly and stay in touch with this young man. Follow what he's doing. Go to the Bandcamp. Of course, he has a really good Bandcamp. And of course, as we saw before, he has a great Instagram that's very active. I urge you to go check it out. And I dare you to find some form of music, some style of music that he hasn't done. But please join those of us that know about this cat and all the different. I've learned about 10 more artists tonight, and every time I watch his videos, I find some other people he collaborates. So thank you so much, my friend. Thanks for being here.
Dude, thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure.
So good, and we'll do this again because Make Weird Music is a home for creative musicians, for folks like you, for people around the planet, and people who are going around the planet. That's what's so exciting because you have stories. So, we'll have you back at some point.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for checking in. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to Make Weird Music. You can find me at Guitar Tour. That's my social media. I do this show every 2 weeks, the Gear Spotlight, and we have coming up on my other show, Confronting Creativity, in about 9 days on 23rd of April, Friday night, 23rd, really another special show with another great drummer, Marco Miniman with Randy McStein is going to be on the 23rd. So stay tuned to Make Weird Music. We have them.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, and coming up, coming up on the Gear Spotlight in a couple of weeks. Katie Coleman, who I've told you folks about before, she's a flute player, a flutist, different pronunciations there, but many people might know her because she's an astronaut. she's the woman in outer space who plays the flute and does some things, live webcasts from space. So the Gear Spotlight, which is where we are tonight, we're just going to keep going into outer space, Antarctica soon, you name it. But tonight it was Merlin Ettore, and who lives in Berlin, and who it's hard to keep track of where he is. He's in Italy right now, but his music continues to inspire. Thank you so much, Merlin, and thank you, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you soon on Make Weird Music. Cheers.
Ciao.
So, all right, you and I are